Leah here from MagicByLeah.com, and in this video I'll show you how to do two different styles of Mokume Gane earring and pendant set. For this project we'll need different colors of polymer clay. I'm using a navy blue, a blue pearl, and white Primo Sculpey, a pasta machine to condition the clay and roll out the sheets. For the first pattern of round shapes, I have circular and oval Kemper cutters. I'll also be using my rolling pin, a pen, and the inside of a pen. For the geometric square pattern, I'll be using my super slicer, a mermaid tail tool, and a blade. Pretty much anything that'll give you deep lines. And here I have templates that I made for the pendant and for the earrings. We'll start with the circular pattern Mokume Gane. So I'll cut small pieces of clay and condition them. Since I'm going for a winter theme, I'm going with a dark blue, a blue pearl to give it sparkle, and a white for contrast. So I've conditioned my polymer clay, and here we have the sheets of blue, white, and the pearl color. I want this to be a little bit of like a dark winter, so I'm going to roll out the dark blue on a thicker setting. I'll put this on number 4, I'll put the other two on number 5. I'm going to stack this up with the dark blue on the bottom. I'm not going to go into too much detail on Mokume Gane itself. If you're a beginner to this, go back to my last video where I show you how to do a Mokume Gane rainbow pen, and I actually dissect the concept in much greater detail. I put this through the pasta machine at number 2, cut it in half, double it over, and I'm going to put it through again. I find that the clay never gets to the bottom, and so to give us a full set of usable colors, I'm going to put this scrap layer on the bottom, and this way, as I make the shapes and as I get usable patterns, they'll go through the colored layers, and then the distorted area at the bottom, since it's not usable anyway, will just be the scrap clay layer. I'm going to use the scraps for the jewelry, so I'm going to keep them aside and try to keep the similar colors together. I found an interesting technique where instead of pushing the whole thing down, just kind of angling it, so some of it goes down more than the others. I'll run this through a few times. And I'll take the different shapes. If you can get progressively smaller shapes, you'll get a very nice pattern of waves. So if I start with a big circle, smaller one, and then I take an even smaller one, that's going to be cool. Use some of this to just push some rounded shapes around. And we'll get even tinier holes from the inkwell. Alright, I think we pretty much got everything. So now I'm going to squeeze this together to fill in and move the colors through the holes. And just roll it out. And don't worry if the holes don't all fill in. We're going to smooth it out later when doing the actual jewelry itself. Right now this is very warm because we did a lot of squeezing, so you can set it aside. I prefer to wrap it up and put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes. We'll do the same thing for the second set, but this time I've decided to add in a very thin layer of Primo Pearl just to give it some more sparkle. Alright, we're ready to go. For this one, I'm going with a linear style geometry, so instead of round, we're going boxy. And I'll start with this tool because it has a nice wide edge. And notice I'm not going exactly parallel. Let me get some patterns. I think it actually cut the entire thing, so I'm just going to squeeze it back together. Now I'll do the same thing, but with the blunter end of the super slicer. Try not to cut all the way down because you may lose your pieces along the way. Alright, I think we have a pretty cool pattern here. So I'm going to do the same thing I did for the other one, squeeze it together, and then refrigerate it. While waiting for the clay to chill, I'm going to use the templates I created to create the base for the pendant and for the earrings. This is rolled out on the number 2 setting on the pasta machine and cut to 1 inch by about 1 3/4 inches, and this is 1/2 inch. So you can cut this to whatever size or shape you want, and these are already baked. And that's going to make it easier to cut the jewelry and make it the same size without having to measure each piece. So here we have the scrap clay rolled out at the number 2 setting on the pasta machine. The back isn't necessarily going to be visible, but I like to have my pieces look good, even the parts that aren't necessarily seen. So I have this scrap color rolled out, and it's pretty enough, and this is where I'll cut my templates. So this is going to be the pendant. I'll put it face down so that the smooth blue color is going to be on the bottom, and this is going to be covered. I'll do the same thing for the earrings, but this time we'll cut out 2 of them. I'd always check to make sure that they look even. They don't have to be perfect, but they have to look even so that they'll be a nice set. The reason I sometimes score the clay instead of cutting is because I want to have a tab to use to pull it apart from the template. Fresh out of the refrigerator, here's the first Mokume Gane that we created. This is the circular patterns. So I'm going to cut some scrap slices off first to start revealing the pattern underneath. Oh wow, it's peeking out. I love that. Notice how easy it is to cut because the entire thing is so cold. What I'm going to do now is just start cutting slices, laying them out so that I have enough to choose from in creating the jewelry. Here we go. Now we're starting to reveal all the colors. Oh, this is so pretty. This should be enough to cover the 1 pendant and 2 earrings. I've tried a couple of different methods, but the one that I like best is rolling out a very thin sheet of scrap clay, add the layers of Mokume Gane, smooth them in as best as possible, and then run it through the pasta machine to make sure that it's all uniform in width and that there are no gaps. So here we have the Mokume Gane on the scraps, rolled out at the number 5 setting on the pasta machine, and this will be perfect for the earrings. I specifically want to go after the pattern here with the circles because I love the look. And again, this is why I have the template so that I can figure out where to cut it without risking any of the raw clay sticking together. I'm going to take that spot for the first one. Now I want to see if there's a way to catch this pattern for the pendant. And it looks like that nearly fits, and then grab this for the second earring. Because it's a little small, I'm going to put scrap clay under it and run the entire thing through the pasta machine to stretch it out, and that will make it match the other one. So watch closely. You see how when I put the template on, it comes to just above, and that means we just nearly run out. But if I put the scrap clay under it, I want you to watch what happens. I'm going to run this through the pasta machine again, putting it in this way forward so the clay will stretch upward, and that will give me just enough space for this. And look at that. I now have more than enough for the pendant, and the design stretched beautifully. I want to capture that circle to make sure that we have a matching set with the earring. So I'll put the template right there. Right, and last but not least, we have the second earring. I want to capture that circle again, so I'm going to fold some scraps under it to make that part grow. Here we go. Slightly bigger, and if I place the template right there, I think that'll be beautiful. Okay, now notice we have all these extra slices. I didn't realize that the one piece that I cut would be stretched so nicely. What had happened is instead of cutting thin, I cut really thick. And when I put that through the pasta machine, notice that circle over here that we liked so much? It's the tiny little one here, but it stretched and the entire pattern just stretched out over the scrap clay. So once again, a happy accident, and look how pretty that is. Before we attach the earrings, we need a way to get the hooks on. Now you have the option to just take a needle tool or something and make a hole, and then you can put a wire there and attach that to the hoop. I like to use a little jump ring, but it's not. It's got the double ring, kind of like a key ring that you see for your car keys or your house keys. And I'm embedding it in here so that when I put the next layer on, it'll be secure and you don't risk them just falling off. hate losing earrings because then I'm left with single, like half pairs, and I can't wear them because I have nothing to match it. Now for the fun part. Let's take the pattern, and I want that circular design near the top. So I'm going to line it up with the top and then carefully just press it down. It's okay if it overlaps a bit because we'll cut that off, but you want to make sure it's secure and it covers the whole thing. I kind of missed, so I'm going to cut off the excess. In terms of finishing the look, again, I've tried a couple of different methods, and what I like is when the top is smooth and then it has almost like a beveled edge at the side. I think that will let light hit it and reflect on the glittery clay because I had the pearl and the blue pearl, and I think that'll just look so pretty. Alright, so that's one. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm pressing it into the sides and at the same time shaping it as I go. Even though you started with a template, the clay may have stretched and moved, so you want to compare them side by side and make sure that they're even. Alright, so here we have the earrings. And now for the pendant. I'm gonna put something on the back for with a little loop so you can put the wire through, but if you're using something that has to be attached similar to the earring, put that on now because you don't want to mess up the design later. And because this is bigger, you want to make sure not to trap any air bubbles. The bigger the piece that you're attaching, the easier it is to trap air. So that's the round Mokume Gane set. I'm going to repeat the same process for the geometric lines set. Here's how I'm going to make the pendant loop, the part where you're going to put the necklace through. I'm using 2 jump rings. The reason I chose this size is because I had them, so it's purely random. And a small piece of wire. So I'm going to take the wire and double it over, and that's just for my paranoia. I want to make sure that it's strong enough, and run it through the 2 jump rings. And again, you can use anything. This is just my own invention. Okay, so now that it's secure, I'm going to take the pieces sticking out and loop them, and this is because I'll embed it in the clay and I want to make sure that it's not able to slide out, because if you just stick a straight wire, then it can loosen over time and come through the clay, but if there's a little hook, it'll kind of catch clay on the way up, and hopefully it won't break as easily or at all. We'll take both pendants and then embed this at the very top. Here I have a small piece of scrap clay that I rolled out on the number 3 setting. The goal is for it to be thin enough so that it doesn't bother you when you're wearing it, but thick enough so that it's not going to break too easily. What I'm going to do is attach it to the back and then make sure that it's in there. So I want to force the clay in between the gaps in the metal, and that bite is going to make sure that it doesn't come out. And then I'm just going to kind of blend it in to make it comfortable. I don't like those bulky backs that kind of tickle your neck when you're wearing it, but at the same time, I don't like something breaking off when I'm wearing it and losing it. Alright, after you do the back, go back to the front and make sure that all looks good. And it does. And there we have it. 2 pendant and earring sets made with a similar technique, yet so very different. Which one do you like better? Let me know by leaving a comment below. These will go straight into the oven. Here's a completed set I did using a similar color scheme in the round pattern. And here's a set I did using the linear style geometric pattern. Notice I baked them at a curve so that they'll kind of loop down to the chin. I have details on how I did this pattern and on how I curved them on my website. For a detailed list of supplies used in this project, along with answers to your specific questions, visit my website, MagicByLeah.com, or click the link in the description. I will be uploading new videos regularly, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, but for even more bonus tutorials, tips, and so much more, join my email newsletter by clicking the link in the description or visiting my website, MagicByLeah.com.